What's up, guys? Welcome back to the 31 Days of Value. Today is day 16. Today, already, and I had to record this later than I'd like to, already had to fire someone. Attitude, and this was someone that we hired a week and a half ago. Attitude problem. Man, it's just amazing that it just comes out like, I don't know, 2 weeks after. Once people, show you their best self during the interview. And, it requires time. Like, that's why we always say, hey, you're in a probationary period, just because from experience, I'm stupid not to do that. So yeah, I just got notified. My project manager, Julio, just said, hey, we had to let so-and-so go. Attitude problem, decided to leave the job, all the drama you can imagine. So that was fun this morning. But the good news is, because I anticipated things like this to happen, we actually set up 3 interviews a couple days ago for today. So I've got 3 interviews for potential new hires coming up through the pipeline. This is a never-ending pursuit of good people. So make this a reminder. I have 13 people working for me. You may have more, you may have less. But there's a chance greater than none that someone's just going to fly off the handle. Someone's going to quit or get fired or just decide they don't want to work anymore. And I'm not going to let my business suffer because of that. So ABH, always be hiring. Anyway, with that said, that wasn't what I wanted to talk about today. What I wanted to show you is a couple follow-ups that I made to 2 customers. They are recorded and for educational purposes only. The purpose of this is to help you understand that you have to be making phone calls and you have to be educating your customers. And maybe you'll get to a point where you can pass that on to someone else. I don't make all the follow-up calls. I don't, but in this case, I felt not only as an educational aspect for you, but also I do enjoy being in the loop and sometimes making follow-up calls to customers. So there was a specific customer. So there's two recordings. The first one is a specific customer that requested a bizarre job type, and we sent the estimator out. She wasn't there, so that's why we actually had to make this call, because once we gather all the information, like, she wasn't really there. She lives in a different state. So we had to kind of outline, hey, listen, you want this, but from my standpoint, what you're asking for is pointless. I think you should do X, Y, Z. And I personally don't think she's going to move forward. She sounds like financially exhausted from the situation. You'll hear it in the recording. But I felt like I did my job as a professional in outlining, hey, listen, like, your expected outcome cannot be met. I have to step in and say, I kind of don't want this project. And, sometimes we have to be bold enough to say stuff like that, right? Sometimes we need to outline, hey, this isn't like going to work out the way you want. Let me save you the headache now. So I'm big on honesty, integrity. And honestly, I didn't feel like she appreciated it the way she made it sound. She seemed very just like, well, whatever, I'm just trying to sell the house, which I understand. So, but in any case, I did my part. And then the second one is a customer that I feel like is a really hot opportunity. So even though she said she was getting more quotes, I'm not going to force her to make a decision, especially on the phone, especially while she's driving. I just saw it as another opportunity to add value. So in that follow-up call, I highlighted some really cool things that we do, and you can hear that she was surprised and delighted about those things. So we can't expect people to remember our value in the time period that they do the estimate. We have to understand that estimates sometimes get confusing, and they ultimately start stuffing our brains with all sorts of different information, even to the point where people forget your company's name if you're the first estimate. So maybe this will highlight some of the value in the fact that, like, literally we tell everyone we get a color consultation, and I mentioned it again, and she was like surprised and excited about it. So it is what it is. But again, that's another touch point. She knows us a little bit more. It's another person she gets to interact with from our company. I truly believe in this. I know for a fact that if I am the company that shows up more, builds more trust, and I can become as close to a friend as possible, you're going to want to hire us. So these 2 recordings are, again, educational, and I hope you get some benefit from them on day 16 of the 31 Days of Value. God bless.
Hello?
Tanner with Premium Painting.
How are you?
Hey, good. I'm actually calling about the quote that we went out to go look at today. Do you have a couple minutes?
Sure.
Yeah, so one of the concerns was to get rid of the smell that's in there. Is that correct?
Yes.
I'm looking at the scope of work, and it said that you just want the walls and trim done. To be honest with you, when we're attempting to get rid of a smell, anything that's porous, which is going to be the ceiling and mostly the walls, it has to be encapsulated.
The ceiling's already been done. So long story short, I hired a guy to come paint. He did everything but the ceiling, and he said that he used the oil-based primer, which obviously doesn't because it still smells. So then I had I had ServPro come out, and they just did the ceilings because I was hoping that because he didn't do the ceilings, that the ceilings would, basically doing that would take care of the smell. And so that didn't happen. So now we know that he didn't actually use an oil-based primer. And since I've already paid 2 different painting companies to come out and paint, at this point, I don't have any more money, but I'm trying to do the best. And so the real estate agent says that the foyer is where it smells, like the back bedrooms, and because I pulled all the carpets out, I had everything's new in there. So just doing the foyer and that main living dining room area where the smell is, just having the walls and trim done there.
Okay, yeah, I totally understand. I just want to make sure you know that I cannot guarantee that there won't be a smell unless I have the ability to paint everything. So I do have to indicate that because if
that's fine. It's just I'm in Seattle, so I wasn't there when the guy came out and did the first round of painting. Didn't realize that the ceilings weren't in the quote. Didn't realize he said he used oil-based primer, which obviously he didn't because the smell's still there.
Yeah.
So it's just I've paid 2 painting companies already to come out, and now I'm just
that's
trying
terrible.
to get. If we can get the foyer and that main room done, I'm hoping that when people come in to view it, they're not hit with the smell of cigarette smoke anymore, so that they can at least get in the house.
And Lori, I just have to be honest with you and say, unless the entire house gets encapsulated, they're still going to smell it. I've done this so many times. I just want to be honest with you. I'm totally fine. I don't mean to offend you or make you feel like I'm trying to upsell you here, but there's no way just doing a small area. It's so baked into the walls. It's even in the air ducts. The entire house needs to be painted with oil.
Well, the air ducts and all that kind of stuff, that's all been professionally cleaned by ServPro twice. So
if you've invested that much in the whole ceiling and in the air ducts, wouldn't it make sense to just get the walls done with oil throughout the whole house? That would be a good investment if everything else is done.
Well, the problem is I can't afford it. So I even dropped the house price $10,000 because that was what the quote for the ceilings and the walls were. So I dropped the price of the house $10,000 just so that the buyer could just do it.
But they're not biting on it, right? Is that what's happening? Okay, so I offer financing, and you could just pay it off obviously when you sell the house, but that'll at least allow us to quote it in a way to make sure that it gets done. I mean,
why don't you send me a quote? Send me 2 quotes. One for what I want done, and one for the whole house, minus the ceilings, because like I said, the ceilings were done properly. They were just done.
Good, and I've heard this story before. I want to do it right. The last thing, I don't even really want the job if you're hiring me to get rid of a smell, and I know that if I go in there and I try to get rid of a smell with just this scope of work, it won't get rid of the smell. All the walls need to be done.
Yeah, I don't think the bedrooms and stuff really need to be done because no smoking happened back there. It's that main room, the main, So it's just that front of the house that smells. If you go in the back of the house doesn't smell at all.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, again, it travels. Yeah. So if it's getting blown through the air ducts, it's going throughout the whole house. So.
But I mean, nobody. Yeah. The smell now is not like. It's not like it's being blown out. It's just residual, right? It's not, the smell isn't being like.
Right. I'm
Yeah.
sure
So
you
it,
I'm
yeah.
sure you don't want to do this again. So the reason I'm calling, which again I could have just sent the quote as it is to help you understand that if I can give you a quote to just do for I don't even think the trim. I know you said you want the trim done. Is that just for appeal?
No, it was just because it's another porous surface that didn't get done.
Well, I mean it is wood, so you can actually get away with cleaning trim instead of
Okay.
painting it and have a better outcome. That's what I'm saying. If maybe we reallocate the resources to just do the porous areas, which are all the walls, instead of worrying about the trim, we could do all the walls, and then you can hire someone to come clean for
Well, I mean
$250.
no, the house has already been cleaned twice now.
Okay, good.
By
So if they
Serpro.
did a good
Like
job on the baseboards, then
yeah.
that's not going to be our problem. What we want to do is we want to get all the drywall encapsulated in all the closets and all the walls, and then you have the best shot at having that feeling of this house doesn't smell like smoke.
Well, like I said, if you can send me, so definitely pull the trim off, but send me a quote for just the front, like the foyer, the living, dining,
Okay.
and then send me a full one, and I'll have to take a look at it. Because like I said, I'm already, $15,000 into the painting job already. I don't have any more money. I'm with the house not being sold. I'm having to pay the mortgage. I'm having to pay pay all the things.
Sure,
So,
sure. And I would love to help you get the sale. And again, if financing makes sense, then that might be an option for you. So I'll get both quotes together. I'll quote the living room, foyer, dining room, kitchen, den, and hall, and then I'm going to add an additional line item to include the rest of the house. And you can decide, what fits best for you. I just wanted to call you to let you know kind of my perspective, and hopefully in this case help you avoid having to hire someone else after us if we get the job.
I mean, at that point, I mean, I'm ready to just sell it for we pay cash for houses at this point. I'm just like,
yeah.
because I'm paying $3,000 a month for just the mortgage and all that kind of stuff. I don't have all this money sitting around, right? Like,
sure, yeah, that's the worst,
yeah.
and again, like I said, I just want to make sure I'm doing the best thing for you. So.
Okay, perfect.
All right, I'll get this over to
just
you soon.
email those over, and then we'll go from there.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank
Talk
you.
to you later.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Hello.
This is Tanner with Premium Painting. How are you?
Oh, I'm good.
Yeah, we sent you a quote today. I just didn't know if you had an opportunity to review it or if you had any questions.
Yeah, I sent Amber a text.
Oh, you did? I'm sorry. Yeah, I should have probably looked at that.
Okay.
I apologize.
That's all right. And so my husband and I are going to look at it tonight.
Okay, good. Awesome.
We've got one other bid coming in. So,
okay.
And that we should have that. It might be in my email by now.
Okay, that's fine. I know that I quoted you for the baseboard installation. I wasn't sure if you had a particular style in mind. So, if you decide you have a certain style, we just go with a standard 5-inch on that. So if that's something you wanted to do, I can send you a picture of that. And are you closing on this home?
We're closing on the 18th.
Okay, great. Well, congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Well, just so you know, if you go with Premium Painting, we actually have an opening on the 22nd, so that's the following Monday. So just let us know.
Okay.
And yes, ma'am. So we actually treat move-ins with high priority, and we'll make sure, I'm looking at your job will probably be done no later than the 25th.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
I will let my husband know that.
Okay, and have you chosen the colors yet?
Well, he wants to just go basically white all the way through, and then if we want to do accent walls, we'll do those on our own.
Are you sure? I can send over my decorator during your walkthrough if you guys go with us, and she can actually kind of help guide you through, and I'll throw in 3 accent walls at no additional cost, so you don't have to feel like you need to do any painting.
Okay, I'll tell him that too.
Yeah, plead the case. We definitely want your business. This would be a great job for us.
Okay, cool.
Okay, well, thanks for taking my call. You have a safe, I think it sounds like you're driving, so drive safe.
Thank you.
All righty, bye.
All right, bye-bye.